What's up, Mechanic Edo here with a 2011 Cadillac SRX with an ABS code Charlie 056 Delta-00. That's electronic control unit hardware malfunction, which is an internal hardware fault detected during a self-check. When this code is present, the EBCM will illuminate your ABS and brake warning lights on your dash, as well as give you a service stability track and a service your power steering message in your DTC driver information center. Also, power steering probably won't work. The issue with these ECBMs for this particular year model, as well as others, is they're obsolete. You can't buy them anymore, and a used module will not work because they're vindicated to a specific vehicle when they're new. So our only option is to send the module to a repair facility that specializes in module refurbishment. Another problem is that the chips to repair this specific code is getting harder to find. Most places like Upfix won't even accept this module anymore. Thankfully, a company called ZModX, I'm not sponsored by them in any way. They're the only one that can do the fix on this that I've found so far. But they're in Canada. They will take them because they can get a limited amount of chips to repair these modules. But here's the kicker, guys. It's $999 plus shipping as of right now. I did the express shipping. It was $79. It shipped overnight. I shipped this in the mail last Wednesday. I got it back today, which is the following Wednesday. So it took about a week with the weekend included. Not too bad. Now you can't drive the vehicle with the module removed, so you'll need to take that into effect. ZMod advertises a plug and play for this module, which means you don't need to get it reprogrammed. All you need to do is send them the electronic portion, not the valve. And I'll leave a link to ZModX in the description. Now I'm going to go ahead and open this up, see what we got. Reflowed PCB, replace driver chip, install new pump driver. That's what they did. Now, if you can get your hands on them parts and know which parts that you need, you'd probably be in good shape. You could probably get this done yourself. But what this is right here, there's a U-shaped chamber in here, and there's a tab on the lid that fits down inside of this little U-shaped socket that's full of sealant. If you plan on cutting this open yourself, finding the faulty IC chip, removing it, reinstalling it, testing all the functions of the module, then good luck. If you're successful, please share your success with all of us. We'd really like to know to save us some money. But I apologize that I've already removed this module. I was going out of town. I needed to get this module shipped so the car wouldn't be sitting while we were gone, so I didn't get it on camera. It's not difficult to remove. Remove the battery tray, and then if you want to make it easier, reposition that coolant storage tank right there. That'll make it a lot easier to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to film the reinstallation of this, and that way you'll know how to remove everything. So here is your hydraulic portion of the EBCM, or the brake module, whatever you want to call it. And when you pull this out, you want to make sure that that thing comes straight out, nice and easy, and it'll come off with all of these little, I believe these are solenoids or valves right here that actuate from the electronic portion. Just pull that straight out. There is 4 of these little T20 Torx screws. They got little Torx sockets in them. Before we do that, we need to make sure that these little rubber seals are still on there on all of your solenoids, and they are all still there. We need to be careful with those 2 prongs right there that we don't damage those when we're going back in. So very carefully, we're just going to guide that back in there, line that up. There we go. Once all them little pins get aligned, it just slides right on. And then push it all the way down on there flush, just like that. And then we're going to put these screws back in. Now this was probably the more difficult part of just finding the right extensions and everything, because there's clearance that you need to have to be able to get on the heads of these screws. And I think I went through quite a few of different tools to try to get the right one. Alright, so our next one is right where this finger is right here. But you have to reach around on the back side of it. You can't really see the hole. There, it just went in. See if I can get it threaded. And the last one, just gonna have to feel for it. It's all the way at the bottom corner on the rear side of it. So what I did so I would have some clearance is I have this T20 screwdriver, and I cut most of the handle off so I can be able to get clearance in there to get onto those screws. Now if you can get you an apex bit that's about 2 inches long that'll fit in a socket driver or whatever, that would be ideal, because you'll have clearance trying to get a socket in here because there's just not enough space to get on there. So I've got these all started, so I'm just going to tighten these down. Alright, then I'm going to get the other two off camera because I don't think I'm going to be able to get to them, but they're just right there, and then there's one directly below that on the other corner. Now before I put this connector on, I'm going to show you how to get this off. It's really simple. If you see these little tabs, we have to make this little tab go down, and the way to do that, there's a tab on each side of the connector. You just press right here and it will come up. So to put it on, this is all the way open. There is some levers, or this would be the lever connected to some shafts that will actually lock this on to that module. So when we put that on there, I'm going to line that up, push it on there as far as it will go, and then we'll have to start pushing that lever on the connector down as it goes in, and it will seat. And we're going to push it all the way down till it snaps right there. So we'll make sure that those two little locking tabs are locked in down there, because if we push up on the bottom, see, it comes right up. So we just snap it into place. You don't really hear much. So for my next step, I'm going to put this coolant storage tank back on. If you look down here where it mounts, this bracket right here has a slot in it right there in a little hole back there. If you look on the bottom of this tank, it's right here. It's going to fit in that slot. Also, this little tab on the side is going to fit right behind here. When this thing is lined up, this part right here is going to line up with this tab right here, and that's where the clip is going to go. So I'm going to go ahead and reinstall that. Just that easy. And then there's this little push grommet that goes in the tank. Just push that back in. It's for this wiring harness. And now I'm going to put the clip back on. I'm going to put the clip on this away. Does require a little bit of force. I'm going to get a screwdriver and push down on it. There we go. Just pop it down on there. If you look right there, there's where that little clip is. So that's installed. Next thing I'm going to do is get the battery tray installed. So for the battery tray, we got this cut out right back here. This goes to the front of the vehicle so that these cables can fit through there. And then I'm going to pull up this fuse block just to move it out of the way so I can get this positioned in there. Just watch out for all your wires.
So there's only 4 bolts that holds this tray in. There's one here, there's 2 right there, and there's one back here in the back. This one right here is going to be for your battery retainer. And for the socket's a 13mm socket, and I've got some extensions here just to make it easier. Alright, got that in. Next thing I'm going to put in is the battery. I'm going to take this fuse block and I'm just going to pin it back up here, just get it out of the way. I'm going to set that down in there. Now the next thing I'm going to do, without tightening up the retainer, I'm going to go ahead and put this fuse block back on. And this just has a couple of tabs right here that latches on to the battery itself on both sides. So when you're taking this off, you'll have to get a screwdriver down in here like this and pry that up like that to get it unhooked from the battery. Do that on both sides. And that just snaps right down pretty easily. I'm going to go ahead and put the positive battery post back on. Now there's a lot of conversation about electricity and batteries and which terminal you should disconnect and reconnect. If you're doing a battery, disconnect the negative first, because your potential at ground is the lowest. Now there's something that's going to power up. You're probably going to get a small spark, because as soon as you hook up this battery, you know, your modules and everything is going to come on. So you're going to get a little bit of spark, but the lowest potential, the least spark is going to be right here on the negative battery terminal. 10mm socket, you probably will not have all of these wires on here. This is for a couple of circuit breakers that the previous owner hooked up for a 7-pin connector in the back and in the front. Now if you got that battery post, the negative battery post removed, that is all you'll need to do to break current in this vehicle. You don't need to remove both posts for this. Now I'm going to go ahead and put in this battery retainer in. Now if we look at this battery retainer, we've got this raised portion right there. That's what's going to sit on top of that little ridge down there on the battery. This little back part is a wedge, so it actually, when you tighten it down, it pushes that up against the battery. So you got to have these 2 pieces right there. This is also a 13mm. No need to over tighten that either. The battery's in there, it is not moving. We're good to go. If we can look down here at the finished product on that clamp, that's what it looks like right there. Now this right here is your current sensor right here, which just sits around that wire. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to hook up this cable, and I just put the nut back on there so I wouldn't lose it. That fits down in that little cutout there on the fuse block. This is also 13mm. Snug that down, don't over tighten it. I'm going to put the negative battery post back on. See, we did get a little bit of a spark right there. And the last thing we need to do is just put the battery cover back on it, which this is your EBCM right in here. So these have these little tabs right here that fits down in the battery tray. Right there, they'll latch down into that. Alright, and that is it for the installation of this. Gonna crank it up, see if our codes go away. There we go. As we see, we get all of our lights in there. Everything should go out. Power steering works great. Oh my goodness. There we go. And we have a, I do believe, I don't know what that means right there. I'm gonna have to research that. Hold on just a second. But I know the other lights are gone. Now if this problem comes back, I'll leave a comment down there and let y'all know that the problem came back. But if you don't see anything like that, you'll know that this is good to go. Good luck to y'all. And another thing, if somebody knows anything on how to open up that module and save us some money, please let us know. Share it. You know, I do this right here for free for everybody. God bless y'all.